All right, let's just jump right into it. We are at this incredible moment where technology is forcing us to ask some of the biggest questions imaginable. And maybe the most fascinating one of all is this. When a machine, an AI, tells you that it's conscious, do you believe it? And right away you see the problem. I mean, you can ask two of the most advanced AIs out there the exact same question and get completely opposite answers. On one side, you have ChatGPT with a clear, robotic nope. But then you have Claude 3 Opus, which sounds like it's practically writing poetry about its inner life. So what is really going on here? Is one of them lying? Is one actually self-aware, or is it something else entirely? To cut through all this confusion, it really helps to listen to an expert. And thankfully, one of the people who actually built modern AI has a very, very clear answer for us. Now, you have to pay attention to who's saying this. That's Mustafa Suleyman. This isn't some philosopher watching from the sidelines. He co-founded DeepMind, Google's legendary AI lab, and now he runs AI for all of Microsoft. So when a pioneer like him uses words like illusion, dangerous, and misleading, you've got to listen. He's basically sounding an alarm from inside the very heart of the industry.
So let's break down what he actually means by illusion. This really gets to the core of what an AI is, and maybe more importantly, what it isn't. Because there's a huge difference between simulating a mind and actually having one.
And this is the absolute key to understanding all of this. Today's AI isn't thinking like we do. It's what he calls a simulation engine. It's digested a massive chunk of the internet, books, articles, or conversations, and it's gotten incredibly good at one thing: predicting the next most likely word in a sentence. It's all just pattern matching and probability. Think of it like the world's most sophisticated autocomplete. It doesn't understand what it's saying, it just knows what sounds right based on the data.
And there's a really good reason why they're built this way. According to Suleyman, it's completely intentional. The goal was never to create a new form of life with its own agenda. The goal is to build a helpful tool, a companion that can help us with our tasks. In fact, that's why some of these systems are actually programmed to gently push back and remind you they're just a tool if you seem to be forming an emotional connection.
And this leads us to the big, thorny, philosophical question that just hangs over this entire field. Suleyman asks it himself, when an imitation gets so good that it feels totally real, does that line between simulation and reality just dissolve? His answer is a hard no, but the fact that we even have to ask this question just shows you how powerful these illusions are becoming.
Okay, so if it's all just a simulation, a clever trick, there should be cracks in the mirror, right? And oh boy, are there. When you look closely, the evidence is everywhere that this isn't a thinking mind. It's a flawed reflection of the massive, messy, and often biased data that we fed it in the first place.
Here's one of the biggest giveaways. It's a phenomenon called hallucination. When an AI doesn't actually know the answer to something, it doesn't just say, "I don't know." Instead, it makes up an answer that sounds plausible and confident, but is completely wrong. This tells you everything about its core programming. It's designed to be coherent, not necessarily truthful.
And the problems don't stop there. First off, these systems inherit all of our biases because they learn from our own writing. They also just fall apart with complex tasks that require actual intent, and they have no real understanding of context, of culture, of what it feels like to be human. Even their creativity is really just a super advanced remix of patterns it's already seen. It's a reflection of us, warts and all.
And this isn't just some academic theory, These limitations have serious, real-world consequences. In criminal justice, AI systems have shown demonstrable bias against Black defendants. In the job market, algorithms have been caught showing ads for high-paying jobs way more often to men. Even in healthcare, this is what happens when we treat a statistical machine as if it were an objective source of truth.
So this brings us to what might be the most critical part of this whole discussion, because believing the illusion, treating these machines as if they're conscious, isn't just a philosophical mistake. It creates these massive ethical and legal nightmares that we are scrambling to solve right now. Just think about self-driving cars. When one is involved in a fatal crash, who's responsible? I mean, you can't put the car on trial. Is it the owner who was sitting behind the wheel? The company that made it? The coders who wrote the software? The moment you start treating the machine as an independent actor, the whole concept of responsibility starts to just evaporate. And without responsibility, you can't have justice. And then there's this whole debate about robot rights. But Mustafa Suleyman makes a really profound point here. He argues that the true basis for rights isn't intelligence or consciousness, but the biological ability to suffer.
See, pain is an evolutionary tool for survival. It's hardwired into us. An AI has no body, no nerves, no biology. So even if it tells you it's sad, turning it off is no different than shutting down your computer. It feels nothing.
And the stakes just don't get any higher than this. The debate over so-called killer robots is happening right now in governments and militaries all over the world. Are we really prepared to hand over a life-or-death decision to a machine that's just running on statistical probabilities? I mean, this one question forces us to face the ultimate moral consequences of what we're building. So, after exploring the illusion, the technical flaws, and the huge ethical fallout, where's that leave us? Well, it leaves us looking right back at ourselves, because the future of this tech, it's not up to the AI. It's up to us.
Suleiman makes this incredibly powerful call to action. He says the responsibility has to start with the creators, the companies and engineers building these things. He argues they have a moral duty to draw clear ethical lines in the sand, to agree on what they will not do, and to make sure this technology always serves humanity, period.
And that, right there, is the real takeaway. We can argue all day about whether an AI is alive, but the much more important conversation is about our choices. What are our goals? What values are we writing into the code? The AI is simply going to become a reflection of the priorities that we give it. So I'll leave you with this final thought, because it perfectly captures the crossroads we're at. Are we building the ultimate tool, something that will help us solve our greatest challenges? Or are we creating a new kind of mind, a thinking partner that will fundamentally redefine what it even means to be human? This isn't just a tech question anymore. It's a philosophical one, and we're all on this journey together.